The knife slid through the cake. Cameras flashed. My husband's hand rested over mine, steady, proud. And then my phone lit up. A message from my mother. "We need to talk, now." 36 missed calls followed, all unanswered. Not one from her congratulating me. Not one from my father, my sister, or even my so-called best friend. Because none of them were there. They were all across town, celebrating my sister's engagement on the same night I vowed to spend my life with the man I loved. That was the moment the last piece of me that cared about family died. I used to be the good one, the reliable daughter, the steady friend. I swallowed insults, ignored favoritism, convinced myself love would eventually balance the scale. My sister was the golden child. Everything I did was a shadow of what she could do, except she rarely did anything. Failed classes, failed jobs, failed relationships. But still, they worshipped her. She just needs support, they'd say. And me? I built myself alone. Degree earned without their help. Apartment paid for with my own money. My wedding planned down to the last detail without leaning on them for a cent. But blood, I believed, would still matter. Until it didn't. The signs had been there. My mother, asking casually over coffee, "Are you sure about the wedding date? It might clash with something." My father, distracted during dinner, murmuring about how much is happening for your sister right now. Even my best friend, flustered, saying, "I'll try to make both." Both? I should have known then. But I didn't believe they'd choose. Not like this. The betrayal wasn't just their absence. It was the laughter I imagined echoing from my sister's engagement party while I stood in my dress looking at empty rows where my family should have been. It was the silence from the people who had raised me. The silence from the friend who had once sworn we'd be in each other's weddings. It was knowing they had made a choice, and I wasn't it. I didn't cry that night. I didn't scream. Instead, I smiled. I danced. I kissed my husband like nothing was broken. Because outward composure is a weapon. But in the quiet after, I planned. Not revenge through fire. Revenge through patience. Through control. The first step was silence. I didn't answer my mother's calls. Didn't respond to her frantic texts. For months, I gave them nothing. My absence, it turned out, was louder than their betrayal. Then came the second step, precision. They depended on my competence. I had always been the one to help with taxes, medical forms, emergencies. The one who bailed them out when bills went unpaid. The one who remembered birthdays, who bought gifts on behalf of the family. So I stopped. The late fees piled up. Appointments were missed. Birthdays forgotten. Slowly, the cracks began to show. Step 3 was exposure. When my sister bragged about her perfect engagement, I smiled and asked how she afforded the ring, loud enough for everyone at the dinner table to hear. She stammered, because she hadn't paid for it. My parents had. When my parents boasted about supporting both daughters equally, I simply tilted my head and asked, "Really? Did you help me with my wedding?" Silence followed. No shouting, no accusations, just questions with answers they couldn't stomach. By the time my sister's wedding approached, their perfect little image was cracking. Money was tight. My mother, desperate, reached out again. "We want you involved. We need your help." I agreed, sweetly, calmly. And then, weeks before her wedding, I withdrew. Every promise I'd made, every task I'd taken on, I dropped. They scrambled. Vendors canceled. Bills went unpaid. Invitations printed with wrong detail. And I watched from the sidelines, unbothered, sipping wine in my living room. The confrontation came when my mother finally cornered me. "You ruined everything," she hissed. I met her eyes, calm, steady. No, you did that the moment you chose her engagement over my wedding. Her mouth opened, closed. She tried to protest, but the words withered. Because deep down, she knew. My sister's wedding limped forward, half empty, half prepared. A pale reflection of what she thought she deserved. Now, months later, they still call. They still ask. Sometimes they beg. But I don't answer. Because the truth is, my revenge wasn't in destroying them. It was in removing myself, letting them choke on the absence of the daughter who had carried them. They thought I was disposable, replaceable, and now they live with the emptiness they created. I look back at the night of my wedding, the cake, the message, the 36 missed calls, and I smile. Because while they were choosing her, I was choosing me, and I've never been freer.